Okay, so now I have an actually decent budget for my spending. So we're going to be doing a 2000 full setup. So $3,000 for everything. The monitor, the keyboard, the case, the CPU cooler, and obviously the PC itself. So everything. So yeah. So starting off with the monitor, because this is a $3,000 setup, we want to go for a 4K 144 hertz monitor. I feel like that is probably the bare minimum for this price range. And yeah, for 670 we can get a 4K 144 hertz monitor. For 3000, 4K 144 hertz might be on the lower end for a $2,000 setup. I feel like this would be more suitable for a $2,000 setup. You might want to go for either, you have two options if you're spending 3000, either a 4K 240 hertz monitor, or you can go for an 8K TV, not an 8K monitor because 8K monitors are expensive, but like an 8K TV or something, which might be a bit more reasonable for 3000. But the issue is right now, GPU prices are insane. If you couldn't tell. So because of that, we're going to have to go 4K 144 hertz. We really should be going 8K for 3000, but just because of the situation, we'll have to go for measly 4K, which I mean, sounds pretty high, but it is a $3,000 build after all. Okay, so now, we have the monitor. So now the graphics card to power that 4K 144 hertz monitor. See, this is what I meant. For a $2,000 setup, we should really be getting an RTX 3090, but we're gonna have to settle for an RX 6900 XT, which is still, an absolutely insane graphics card, and it's actually comparable to the RTX 3090. But it's supposed to go for like 1,000. It's going for 1,850, which definitely shouldn't be that expensive. But we'll have to deal with it. So yeah, already with the monitor and the graphics card, we already have a pretty big chunk of our budget. Now keyboard and mouse. I'm going to go for the Razer Viper Ultimate for the mouse. Pretty good mouse. In fact, pretty much the best of the best, unless like a gold-plated mouse or something. But it's the best Razer has to offer for sure. Um, yeah, practically you don't really need to spend any more than $80 on a monitor and a mouse. You can, but like, what's even the point? For the keyboard, we're also going to get a really good keyboard, the Control Strafe RGB Corsair keyboard. They're a bit pricey actually. Let me take out Corsair Control Strafe RGB. Okay, yeah. Yeah, $45. Yeah, it's mechanical. The Control, it's one of the best keyboards in the world. It's made by Corsair. It's full RGB, programmable switches, mechanical, really nice keyboard. I mean, there isn't much more to say about it. So yeah, with that, so yeah, now we have the monitor, the keyboard, and the case. Oh no, we don't have the case. It's the case. I know this might seem a bit low end for a $3,000 build, but I'm mainly focusing on functionality. So I'm gonna go for the Corsair 4000D, which has great airflow. Yeah, for $75. Yeah, obviously, you can go higher end than this, especially if you have a $3,000 budget. But you know, I kind of just want to get something more practical because of how insane GPU prices are. So we'll go for that. Now we need the CPU. Okay. So we're gonna go for the Intel E5 2680 version 4. Came out in 2015. 2015, I want to say, so a bit older CPU, but it's 14 cores. You know, 28 threads, so I mean, that's a bit of an older CPU. I think it should be good. So yeah, we'll add that. Oh, and yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Now we need an LGA 2011 version of the motherboard. Okay. So yeah, let's get this motherboard, and now that we have that, we need the CPU cooler. So for the CPU cooler, I'm going to go for the, what do you call it? Blanking out of the name. I believe it's called the, shoot, you know what, I'm just gonna look up Intel LGA 2011 version 3 motherboard and coolers. I'm blanking out of the name, that's the problem. So wait, give me a second. Oh yeah, okay. So it's the Cooler Master. So Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo version 2, not version 1, because that's going to be for the standard LGA 11 motherboard. I want to go for version 2. For 45 bucks, gets the job done for cooling this beast of a CPU. Okay. So what do you have? Okay, yeah. So now we're gonna get the RAM, 16 gigabytes of Corsair LPX 3600 memory. Okay. And for the, no, it's $3,000 bill. We're gonna go for an SSD. So I'm gonna go for the Kingston 1TB SSD. And we don't want to just go for a standard SSD. We want to also make sure it's M.2 SATA is a bit slow. And, for $94 we have a M.2 SSD. It's not quite NVMe, but I think it should be okay. It's better than SATA for sure. So, yeah. Total came out to around 3,000. I think what made us go over budget was definitely the fact that RX 6900 XTs are overpriced. Should be 1,000, it's 1,850. If we took out 850, then it would be a $2,400 build. What I think we compromised on for sure is the, I think we should have gotten a bit more recent of CPU, just for that more modern architecture, though this is still good enough to handle. Oh wait, I forgot the power supply. Oh my god, okay, my bad. So we need roughly 700 watts, Corsair 750 watt power supply. And we want it to be 80 plus also. Yeah, for 29 bucks. What a Corsair power supply. Okay. Oh yeah, so yeah, still around 2,000. It's 750 watts. That too. Okay. So yeah, what I think we compromised on is for sure, I think the CPU is fine, though we probably could have done a slightly better motherboard, just for more upgradability and stuff. One thing I think we definitely compromised on is the monitor. 4K is a bit low for a $3,000 build. You really should be getting an 8K or 6K or even a 5K monitor. But yeah, any one of those is fine. But you really should be going into those higher than 4K pixel ranges if you're spending 3,000. For a $1,500, $2,000 build, 4K is fine. Though I guess this isn't a standard 4K monitor. It's 144 Hz. So there's that. Yeah, 4K is a bit low for 2000. I mean, okay, assuming that, because I think everything else is reasonably priced, so assuming that the RX 6900 XT was 1000, like it should be, instead of getting this 4K monitor, which is once again a bit low, I would actually opt for the 8K Samsung TV. Because the RX 6900 can handle 8K. Yeah, for roughly 1500, you can get an 8K TV, which I mean, 8K monitor, for sure is going to not be exactly possible, but 8K TV for sure is possible in a $3,000 build. And we can't afford 1,000. But assuming the RX 6900 XT was not 1850 and was 1,000, then it would be 3250, which was not the amount we spent. So we had to downgrade from 8K to 4K, which is a pretty big downgrade if I'm being honest. But for $3,000, you deserve an 8K TV. But fortunately, GPU prices are just too expensive for that. 4K 144 Hz is fine. I guess if you play in ultra settings, then yeah, the RX 6900 XT is in it. Yeah, that's around what the RX 6900 XT can handle. But if you want to play at medium settings, for example, and don't care about that 144 Hz, medium or low, then I feel like 8K would be better if you care more about resolution. So, yeah, it's kind of a toss-up, but yeah. Overall, I am a bit upset that we have to spend so much on the RX 6900 XT, and we ended up getting a 4K setup instead of an 8K setup. Granted, it is a 144 Hz monitor still, so I guess there's that.